Hello everyone! My name's Indiana Woodward and I am a teacher and co-founder of Grace and Form with my best friend Saskia Gregson-Williams. And we are doing a live class with Discount Dance in collaboration and for the beginning days of our podcast, which is very exciting and coming out at 5 p.m. So I'm going to lead you through my favorite workout, just something for your body to calm your nervous system to start with, and then some breathing, some abdominals, things for your hips and back. And you can find this at Grace and Form Studios, and it's very lovely, and there's a lot more classes, and it'll be about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll do a Q&A with our lovely Allie. And yes, so let's get started. We're gonna start back, and you can have a mat or just your floor, whatever you'd like, and we're just gonna do some lymphatic drainage. So that's like where we start our day and we can end our day like that. I do this morning and night, and there's some classes on the Grace and Form platform as well if you like this. And basically all we do is start at the top of your collarbones and you just rub, very gentle, like feather-like touch. Yeah, invite everybody, wherever you are, to do this. It's so good for your nervous system. And then just tap, 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 tap. And then you're gonna go ahead and go behind the ears, and you go and just do a feather-like touch going down, and tap, 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 tap. And then under your armpits, where there's a big lymph node here that actually is, they're all really important, but this one gets really stuck sometimes, so it can feel a little icky when you're doing this, but it's good for you and flushes everything out. And then we do the other side. This is just a 5-minute thing. Tap, 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 and then our bellies. Very important to get everything moving in there. Tappy, tappy, tappy. The groin area, this is like a really intense lymph node that also gets really stuck and sticky. And then tap in your inner thighs. Just going through this very quickly, but you can always do this a lot slower. And then the other one, to shake it all out, our favorite part of our body, the inner thighs. And shake it. And then behind the knees, my mom always calls this the depression one spot because this is really good if you have any really pent-up emotions or anything for releasing a lot of tension and emotions and everything. And then you shake it out, and then you're just gonna stand and see how you feel. And usually you get a bit of vibration, which is really nice, and then you feel reset and clean. It's basically what lymphatic drainage is, and I think it's so important for people that exercise, it's like if you had a fish tank and you're feeding the fish and they're getting the nutrients and everything, but you never clean out the tank, they start not eating the food. And so you have to clean the water so that the system can work all together. And that's basically what you're doing. You're flushing all of these spots, all the lymph nodes, they control all of the liquid that goes through your body. So if they're really tense and not drained, then it's gonna be a bad situation. You're not going to get any of your nutrients from your actual food, your exercise, your sleep, anything. So that's all done. So let's go to the mat. And we're just going to go in a position, putting your feet right underneath your hip distance apart. And you can always push and just get a little bit of crack if you need. And you're just going to have your hands on your pelvis and have a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And just one more time here, in through the nose. And just calming yourself down out through the mouth. Being present in your day, just saying thank you for this time that you've given yourself. And then you're just going to tilt your pelvis forward just a little bit into an arch. And tap back. And tilt forward. And tap back. And one more time, forward and back. This is a very important movement to do before you do any abdominals, I find. And then find your neutral spine. You can just slide your hand underneath your spine here so that there's a natural curve, but you're engaging your core. You've just done your breathing and the lymphatic and everything, so everything is really connected now. So you can knit your ribs together, and your core is coming together like a beautiful zipper. And you're just going to bring your right knee up to tabletop. And you can have your foot pointed or not, and lower back down. And this doesn't have to do with the knees really, it's just your core lifting your knees, yeah. Like that, and then up, to the right, and the left, and the right. This is just to warm everything up, left, And last time to the right. And one more time to the left. Good. And now you're going to bring your foot down. You're going to lean your knee out. So just leaning the knee as far as you can without tilting the pelvis, coming into neutral, and then leaning the left side over. We're at the children hour at the studio, so if you hear any screaming kids, that's why they're very happy. And then right, and in, left, and last time to the right, and then last time left. And then just take a breath here. Bring both of your knees up to tabletop. And you still have your hands on your tummy or your pelvis so that you're not protruding and you're in a good position in your lower back. And you're just going to tap your right and left, right and left, right and left, right and left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now both toes touch the mat. Touched, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6. We're going for 10, 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Just hug your knees into your chest. You can wiggle right, wiggle left. And then we're going to get cooking. And now let's bring the knees back to tabletop. Head, neck, and shoulders come up. Hands side behind next to your thighs here. And you're just going to start pumping your arms. We're going for our hundreds. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Connect to your core. If you'd like to extend your legs as you do your core work, go for it. It's a little extra challenge. You can always lower your legs and keep them lifted as well. Or for a ballet challenge, you can turn out and give yourself a nice beat in fit. Going down and up and down. Or you can keep pumping those arms while I give you all the options. You can have your feet on the mat too if this starts hurting your hip flexors. Always a good thing to just keep in mind that you can still do your hundreds even if your hip flexors are tired, which of course when you do ballet, a lot of the times they are. And last 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring your knees into the chest. Just tilt your head to the right and move it to the left and just relax your neck a little bit. Breathe out all the tension in your face. We hold so much tension in our foreheads when we're doing our abs and all of the day. In the city, there's lots of people that hold a lot of negative energy around us, and it's good to just let it go, especially when we're doing our exercise. So head back up. You're going to reach your legs long and your hands long as well in one long line, and you're going to circle and come up and meet your toes. And reach long, keeping your abdominals really tight, and circle and bring it around. And you can use your breath here, so breathing in and exhaling out. We're just going for 5. Here's our 4th. And in, and out, and in, and head, neck, and shoulder back down. And just give yourself a nice little circle with the knees, warming up our hips. Good, okay. Hands behind the head, bring the head, neck, and shoulders up, legs back up to tabletop, and you're going to twist and do your left to the right knee, and twist, and twist, and twist, and twist, and twist, and last twist. Now the challenge is going to be your left elbow and left knee, and right elbow, right knee, and this is for just getting the brain activated as well. It's always kind of hard to get the coordination, so it's good to challenge it. And then we're going to go as fast as you can in twisting left elbow to right knee. As fast as you'd like to get the cardio up a little bit, movement, warmth if it's cold where you are, and come back down. Good, everyone. So now you're going to go ahead and bring your arms in a circle. In a first position, you can have them just like your shoulders are back at the mat, so you don't want to raise anything. No tension in your neck here. And you're just going to curl up to the left, through the center, over to the right, and down. And again, we're going for 5 to one side, keeping the abdominals long, but really flat. So you're not crunching anything in this, your head is up to the ceiling. I believe this is number 5. And then we're going to go the other direction. So we go 1, and and 2. Keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. 3 and 4. And last one, 5. And just relax down. Grab your right knee and just bring it into your chest. And you can just move that knee around as well. Feeling really good in this position. Just a little gentle stretching as well. And left knee for our Monday. I think it's Monday, yes. Little movement. And then we're going to put our feet back on the mat. Hands down by your side or up to the ceiling. And you're just going to curl through your pelvis. And you're going to reach long past your knees. So it's a long position. It's not just up to the ceiling. So you're not crunching your spine. You're just going long past your knees. And you're going to lower, curling through your spine. We're just going for 5 of these to warm everything up. And to take a tiny break from the abdominals, even though they're working here too. Different kind of abdominals. And 3. And you'll lower. 4, reaching really long. Relax your shoulders and your neck. And last one here. And you're going to reach your right leg long. You're going to go on demi-point on your left foot. And you're just going to lower and lift and lower and lift and 3. Just for 5, 4. Last one, 5. And now touch that right toe down on demi-point and reaching the left leg long. Lower and lift. This is really good for your calf muscles as well as your glutes and your hamstrings. So it's just a little bit more challenging. I think this is number 5. And bring that foot down and curl down. Good. And now you're going to reach your right leg up to the ceiling. You're going to bring your head, neck, and shoulders back up. And you're going to pull, pulse, and switch. Pull, pulse. Pull, pulse. Pull, pulse. You can keep your toes pointed, or you can get like flex and get a little stretch in the calves. And you're going to do the same thing that we did with the twisting. Hands behind your head, and you're going to twist to the right. So left elbow, right leg, and twist and pulse. Twist and pulse. Keep going. Good, everyone. And then you're going to do same elbow as leg. So again, bring the coordination back in. This really works your obliques, which are the side abdominal muscles that don't always get worked in our core classes, but they're really important for stability. And then we'll come back together. You can have both your legs up to the ceiling, give them a little shake, shake out your hamstrings, and just lower the left leg and take the right calf or foot if you can, and just give yourself a little bit of a stretch here. We created a nice warmth from the back of the leg, and so stretching it out for at least 30 seconds is super important to just get the length of everything, not having anything too tight. If you want, you can always take, my favorite thing is to take my right arm and just massage my quad this way so that it's horizontal, yeah, I think. And it just feels really good. Takes out all that lactic acid. And we'll go ahead and switch the legs. Grabbing the left with the right. And again, you can take your left arm and just massage your quad out. We're just going to do one more abdominal after this. And then we'll switch to our side lying body. Putting that foot down, you're going to bring your feet back underneath your knees. Hands behind your head. Really nice and engaged core, but a neutral spine. And you're going to lower your legs towards the right side, not fully down to the mat, but just to the side, also for your obliques and your side line. And you're going to reach your head up to the ceiling and lower down. And we're just going for 10, so we're really intentionally lifting our head, neck, and shoulders in the same line as our body. So it's a very long abdominal. 5, and 6, and 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Lower the knees and just give yourself a gentle twist. Having your right hand on your left knee if you'd like, and reaching your left arm really long. And just taking a nice deep breath in here. And exhaling out. One more here, breathing in. Stretching our spines, lubricating all the vertebrae, and exhaling out. And come back to center. And last time to the other side. Head, neck, and shoulders taking your right knee with your left hand this time and twisting to the right side. Breathing in again. And big exhale out, like wringing out a washcloth. Bringing out all the negativity, starting your day or ending your day in a nice positive way, dedicating some time to your body and yourself. Breathing in one more time, and exhale out. And then come back to the center, and you're gonna go ahead and lay on your right side. So you can either mirror me, or just go on your right side, whatever you'd like. And you're gonna reach your arm long, you're gonna have your hand on the mat if you need extra stability, or your hand on your hip. You're gonna reach your top leg up to the ceiling, just hip height, and then you're gonna reach it long, and then you're gonna hike it back in. This is really good for your hips and the mobility in there and not having any like crunchies in there. Just getting a nice stretch out there and still connecting your abdominals. And we're going for one more. We're gonna reach it long. We're gonna do little circles. So circle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse the circle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reach it long, forward just a little bit, and back. This one's really easy to wobble. It's totally okay if you need to put your hand on the mat. You want to just keep that line really nice and long. Just one more forward, one more back, and now reach it long. Last thing, we're going to turn out and parallel, and just turn out at the hip, parallel, turn out, just for 5. Here's our 4th. Last one, and we're going to bring our knee into a passe, and we're going to turn out the bottom leg. You can keep it pointed if you like, still connecting your abdominals. You're just going to lift and have this inner thigh reaching really long and strong. And if you need to activate it a bit more, sometimes tapping the muscles, it really helps go up to the brain, the signals to like actually have it working. So if you have a lazy inner thigh, just give it a little tap. We're going to go for 5 of these as well. And last one up here, we're going to do little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Good. We're going to go to the other side. So my left side or your other side. And your top leg again, just step your body up nice and long and engage your core. There's maybe a little bit of space underneath your ribs here, and that's totally fine. You don't need to collapse in there. It's actually helpful to feel really connected through the midline here. So lift your top leg, pointed toes if you'd like, or flex. Reach it really long, and hike it in. And really long, hike it in. And one more of these, hike it in. And last one, really long, and you're going to go for 10 little circles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Keep it really long. And now reach it a little bit forward and a little bit back. I know your bums are maybe burning, but that's good. Mine is definitely burning. And front and a little bit back. And now reach it long in the same line. Really, really long. Turn it out at the hip and parallel. And 2, and 3, and 4. Last one, 5. Turn it in and then bring it up into your passe. Turning out the bottom leg, you can give it a little tap. You're just going to lift and lower. 2, and 3, and 4. Last one, 5. Stay up here for 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, everyone. Okay, last thing we're going to do is just wake up the spine, and that's like the most important thing to finish with. I always find before I start doing any ballet or walking or anything. So just put your hands underneath your shoulder girdle, and your knees are going to go right underneath your hip, and you're just going to breathe in, and you can curl your spine so the navel goes all the way up to the ceiling, and then exhale and arch. And you can always do the breathing in the reverse if it feels better to you as well. So breathe in. This always feels good for me because when I exhale everything out in the arch. But again, whatever you need, just make sure you are breathing. And one more here. reach long. 2. We're going for 5, please. 3. And 4. And 5. And now we're going to twist across our body. So left elbow across the right knee. And lengthen and out. And keep finding that really neutral spine. 4. Last one here. 5. And we put it back down. Right arm out. Left leg out. Really finding the neutral spine and engaging the core, coming in. Forehead to knee. And elbow basically to the back of your, trying to go as far as you can. 3. And 4. And 5. And now across your body. Across. Reach long. 2. 3. 4. Last one, 5. And now touch your hand back down on your knee. You're going to just push back your right leg, push back your left leg, and we're just going to stay here for just a couple seconds. Just a little tricky plank. That wasn't expected. That's always good to do in your day. It's not always wanted, but it's so good for us, for our core, for everything, our shoulders, the strength in our wrists. You can always feel your elbows if this is too much for you. It's no problem. It's whatever you need to do with your day. That's most important. And let's touch back down your knees. We're going to reach your right arm up to the ceiling. And then you're going to go ahead and twist through to the left side, reaching your left arm long, and just enjoying this last spinal twist. Breathing in here, and exhaling out. Bringing your left hand back to the mat, unthreading that arm, and floating it back forward and down, and other side, up to the ceiling, and threading it through, reaching the right arm very long, taking a breath in here, exhaling out, replacing that hand on the mat, reaching long, coming back forward, and then we're just going to sit back in a child's pose for one more breath here. And then we'll just come on up when you're ready. And that's our little 15-minute-ish, maybe more, 20-minute class. I'm so happy that you guys are joining us today. We're going to do a little Q&A. So I'm going to invite our beautiful Hallie to come and sit with me. Thanks. Do you think she'll maybe a little closer? Yes, I think sure. That's a good idea.
Well, that was awesome. My favorite part was definitely when you did sort of a little lymphatic.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't do on a day-to-day. It's something I need to be doing on a day-to-day.
It's really helpful.
Yeah,
it's very
totally.
helpful to like reset your nervous system. Which
the fish tank analogy was
it's
really
so
perfect.
important to do. Like
Yeah.
it's a body, but it's also your mind, and you have to do all those things to keep healthy. You know.
Yeah, keep it clean.
Yeah.
Keep your fish tank clean.
Literally.
All right. Well, we've collected some questions that we personally have.
Cool.
Our followers have some questions, and I believe yours do too. So I've collected them here.
Sweet.
I want to start with a few about you as a principal dancer. So first things first, what was the moment you knew you wanted to become a professional ballet dancer?
Okay, the moment I knew I wanted to become a professional dancer was when I was younger. I think about like 9 or so, I quit ballet to do karate because I just didn't really like the class that I was taking, and I was like, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm not gelling with it. And so I quit for a couple of months. I did karate, loved karate because it was still physical and beautiful. And then I saw Romeo and Juliet, and then I was like, oh no, I have to be a ballet dancer. So I went right back in. And then also one of those days, like leading up to this time of finding out if I wanted to be a ballet dancer, was my mom. I told her I didn't want to go to class. I wanted to just like walk around and just enjoy the day and go shopping or something.
Right, as one does.
Yeah, and I was a kid, and I was like, I just want to hang with you. And my mom was like, okay, no problem. And as soon as she said that and we left, I started bawling. And I was like, I can't believe I'm missing ballet class. Like, this is the saddest thing I've ever endured as a kid. And my mom knew what she was doing because it was my choice then. And that was it. Like at 10 years old, I was like,
There was no going back.
no going back.
Yeah. And look at you now.
I know. Hard work. Lots of hard work.
Of course. It's not just walking around.
It's like, yeah, I just made it.
Yeah. No,
I
know
wish.
it takes a lot of hard work. Moving on from that, how do you prepare mentally and physically before a big performance?
Before a big performance, I find it really important to prepare my snacks. So I usually have like a half a cup of coffee still, even though maybe caffeine's not great at night, but sometimes you need it. With a banana, a hard-boiled egg, maybe some crackers or something like that. Just something kind of light, because if you're being flipped upside down a lot, it's a little nauseating. If you have like a really full tummy and you don't have enough time to digest, basically.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing for me. The other thing that I do right before a performance is that I've started to do a lot of meditation. I've always done it, but particularly before hard shows, I always take a moment to meditate, as well as watch a lot of X Games, like snowboarding or skiing. I find that I get a lot of inspiration from them because they just have to like go into the half pipe and just give it their all, or go down the mountain and give it their all, and if they don't give it their all, they probably will get injured.
Yeah.
And they also have the mentality if they're not having fun, then there's no point. And I really like resonate with that a lot. That's a really wonderful mental way to prepare for a show, that you're doing this because you love it, and that's super important to just always remember. Of course you care, and I get nervous and stuff, and I want to accomplish the steps, but I also love it.
Yeah.
And so being transported in that way, just mentally before a show, meditating and just coming back into myself and trying to get out any thoughts that are of self-doubt before going on stage, and just being present.
Yeah,
That's
always
like
remembering why
why
you're
you're
doing what
doing
you're doing.
Yeah.
Very out of the box way to prepare, but
Yeah. I know.
it makes sense too. You explained it, and I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I love
Such a
it.
dive.
Yeah. Is there a role that you dance that's especially close to your heart? And if so, why? I'm sure there is one.
There's definitely a lot. I feel like Emeralds was a role that I debuted. I actually don't remember when I debuted it. Maybe 2 years ago now. But it's very close to me because it was originated on a dancer named Violette Verdi, and she is one of like my biggest inspirations. And she just like, I don't know. It just was something that I felt very. It felt very natural to me to do this specific variation that's like very perfumey, as we call it. And it's very dear to me because of that reason. I felt very connected to this dancer that I really admired because I watched her a lot in videos. But also, Sleeping Beauty is a role that I really connect with because I love the story, even though it's not super complex. It's just like I love the excitement of the young lady, and then the deepness of the vision scene that's like kind of more mystical, and it's also a feat to accomplish technically, which is something that I really love, a challenge.
Yeah.
So
You like to dive head first?
I like to dive head first. Yeah. So those are just like a couple, but of course, kind of any role I'm dancing at the moment is something that I'm pretty connected with.
Yeah. I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. One more question about you as a dancer. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned from dancing at such a high level?
To not be too hard on yourself. Even though we're perfectionists as ballet dancers and just dancers in general, and people, I think people are perfectionists, some. I find that beating yourself down is not super helpful, so giving yourself the chance to just improve and always know that growing is really the most important thing. I think in life, and I think it's the most wonderful thing about life is that we're always growing. So even though we have moments of discouragement, to always remember just things to be grateful for, that we have a body that's functioning, and that we're here and we're lucky to have a job, and all these kinds of things that maybe I took for granted when I was a little bit younger, that I would get frustrated that I didn't get a role. But that things happen for a reason, and to be grateful for what you're doing today, I think is like a really wonderful way to stay present, and to let everybody else do what they need to do.
Yes.
We all have our own path, and I think staying on that, just that in your mind that you can't be anybody else, but you can take inspiration from others and apply it to yourself is super important.
Yeah, such a beautiful answer for a ballerina and just in general in life. Well, we're really excited to be working with you guys, like Grace Inform and the new podcast. So, just first some questions about Grace Inform in general, because maybe a lot of our followers don't know yet.
Yes.
So, you launched the Grace Inform app, which has incredible dancers, teach beginner and pro ballet workouts.
Yep.
So, how has your experience as a principal dancer shaped the classes that you teach?
It's a good question. I would say that how I teach my classes has been shaped mostly from the pandemic, because I used to teach in studios a lot when I was younger, and it would be kind of like I would go and see how the students were, and then I would give a class like inspired by them, and I still do that very much so, but I find that now through COVID and like being more online, being able to have people access the best teachers and in whatever level they need, I feel like that's just super important. So I kind of just now vary on all of my classes so that it's a little bit of everything for everybody. Because I just think that's super important. And when I was in the pandemic, I didn't find a ballet class online ever. Or except for one that I took like a million times. I think it was Royal Ballet World Ballet Day, and then one at Het National with Ernst.
Okay.
That was like an amazing class, but it was
on repeat the
on
whole
repeat.
pandemic.
Yeah. So I feel like my classes just kind of became a place to grow also as a person and as a dancer.
Yeah.
Like kind of in the moment of that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, and then what kind of classes do you personally love doing on your platform?
I love doing the coordination, which is what we did. That's like the thing that I personally do every day.
Okay.
And it really has helped my back health and my knees and my hips, because it's just a little bit of movement, but you're connecting all of the muscles and awakening your mind and everything to be able to go into your day and sit upright, not have a slouched back, because you're supporting your spine and your bones from your muscles, which is really important. And it's just a little thing that you can do for yourself, and I feel like that's just so important. A couple other classes that I love are Sarah Adams Pilates classes. She's a soloist with our company, New York City Ballet, and they're so incredible. And you can be a beginner and still do all of the Pilates, and it's just a really good challenge. Otherwise, there's so many. Devin Tusher has a great ballet class. Unity Phelan has a wonderful workout and ballet class. Chun-Wei Chan is the best and so hysterical. Isabelle Lafreniere has a beautiful, long class. I've taken, I think, basically all of them.
I can't wait to dive in and try them all myself.
They're wonderful. They're really, really, and they're all a little bit different. Lauren Levitt has a beginner one that's just really lovely and quite long, which is actually really nice sometimes when you want it to just be a little bit calmer for yourself. And then I have a ton that I've done. And Sassy's classes, obviously. That I didn't even mention it because it's like she's most important to you. But yeah, Sassy's classes are like incredible, quick killer fire classes. And then some are really wonderful stretches. She's taught me, my favorite stretch actually is one where you tilt your head and you just open up your spine and your neck, and then you twirl your left wrist, and that's helped so much for pandemic neck of phone screens. Sassy always has that problem where she's looking down, and she always tells me about it, and that's really I got that one too. It's been so helpful. So just to do that, even when you're sitting on the bus, in the train, in a car, wherever you are, it's just this slight. So there's just so many.
Me on my subway, my new mode of transportation.
You're welcome to the cities.
Yeah, seriously, everyone's
weirdos on the train. Yes, all the dancers.
Exactly. Okay, if someone was just getting started with movement, where should they begin on the platform? What would you recommend is their first stop?
I think that the beginner ballet that we have is really lovely because they're just all very approachable. So if you want to go for a ballet class, I think the beginner ballet, we have a lot now in that category, and there's a lot of live classes that are recorded that we've put there. They're really, really wonderful. And then if you want to integrate a little bit more into the physicality exercise portion of it, going into one of Sassy's workouts, I think is really helpful. And she does a really wonderful combination of ballet-focused exercises and overall health for your body, your joints and your bones and everything. And I think she's the best place to start, really. And then you can kind of get a feel for the platform and navigate it how you'd like.
Try out all of the different teachers.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, I think we're minutes away from the podcast going live, right?
Yes.
So it's a super exciting day for you guys and us too, being involved with it.
Yes.
So I just want everyone to get a couple little inside tips on the podcast. So what inspired you and Sassy to start the Grace and Form podcast?
Okay, Sassy and I, we've been friends since we were 7, and I'm 31 now, and so that's a lot of years. And
a lot of amazing years.
A lot of amazing years. We love age. And it was basically, we've just talked. We've had a long distance best friendship for a long time. And so we spend hours talking, and a lot of our times when we're in person, we just have these conversations that go on for hours just about life.
Yeah.
And Sassy asks me a lot of questions and advice, and I ask her a lot of questions and advice. And we felt like it would be just so nice to have a podcast and invite a guest and ask them their questions and their advice and their journey, and keep learning from others, and create a really nice environment to have an open conversation and learn a bit about like how they are kind to themselves and how they're gentle in this world that sometimes isn't so gentle on us, or on anybody. And so I feel like that was like the seed that was planted, was our conversations, wanting to talk to more people and just keep growing and learning.
Yes, I love that. I feel like I've already learned so much from you today. So
Yay.
they're in for a really, really special experience. Next, people are wondering, tell us about the first episode. Who is going to be your first guest?
Okay, our first guest is Wendy Wayland. And she was and is an incredible dancer. She is also, I believe it's the Associate Artistic Director of the New York City Ballet. And she just talks like, she's incredible. She's a very loving, warm person, but also so funny. And I feel like that's just like something that I just love so much about her, is her quirkiness and her funness, and like just like she's really herself, and I really appreciate that a lot. And she talks a lot about her journey, which I didn't know, I knew a lot about, but she talks a lot about things I didn't know, and her mentality and how she deals with the dance world, how she dealt with the dance world, the generation before, the generation now, what to look for in a company, what to look for in a dancer, all these things that are really helpful for, I think, young minds and minds of any age, really. And as well as being just like a really kind, genuine human. She gives a lot of advice, and she's just a really beautiful person that we had an amazing conversation. I shared it with my mom already, just to get approval. I was like, could you listen to this just to see like what you think? And she was just blown away by Wendy Wayland, which most people are.
Yeah.
But it was a really, really wonderful conversation, and Wendy also has listened, and she said she just loved it, and she felt like it was just the perfect thing to send out into the world.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we are so excited and minutes away from that. So.
Yeah, and you can find it, I think, on Apple and Spotify, where you get your podcast, and the Grace and Form podcast.
Yes. So exciting. Okay, just a couple more questions.
Yes.
What kind of other guests can listeners expect to hear from in the future going forward?
Okay, so there's a huge range of guests. This season, I believe, I'm just going to name a few that I remember, because we've interviewed a lot of people.
Yes.
Payal, she is an amazing woman who was the founder and is the founder of ClassPass, but also a lot of other things. Has created an Indian dance company she's just incredible, this woman. Like, the most amazing businesswoman I've ever met in my life. And the conversation is just unbelievable, and just gave us so much advice, and I feel like it's just helpful for people to have advice in the business also aspect of dance, like dance and business, and being a responsible human being as well, that sometimes we're not really always taught. I think just like, we don't have like a business class in high school.
Yeah.
So, it's just little things like that. Devin Tusher is on it, and she talks a lot about teens, and she gives us a little insight about her journey and stuff that I found really interesting. Unity, who's one of my best friends as well, is on it. And then we have Chen Wei Chen, Giovanni, Furlan, Cassie Trineri, and Skylar Brandt. Just lots of dancers that we have, and then we're also getting a lot of other people that I'm not going to mention yet because it's secrets for the future, but it's all different types of people: dancers, entrepreneurs, composers, designers, all of these different types of people that are just really wonderful. And it's important to learn from everybody, and I feel like that was the point of the podcast, is to just keep growing and learning.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a very wide variety of things and people to learn from.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool aspect of your podcast. It's not just for ballerinas, it's not just for dancers. There's a lot of things that you can learn from, especially like I personally like that she started ClassPass. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear her story.
Yeah.
And that kind of segues into the next question that I have. I think you've answered it, but just a like straightforward answer.
Yeah.
How do you hope that the podcast impacts the listeners?
I hope that it just gives a lot of tools to people that wouldn't have them. I'm a huge podcast listener, so I listen to podcasts like every single day, and I just learn all the time. Like learn of different ways of thought, different ways to approach people, different just like history and all these things. And so I feel like this podcast just is really helpful in a lot of tips of just being a human, also navigating the dance world, navigating life as a woman, as a man, as a person, and just it's just a very you just really learn. Every conversation I just really learn a lot, and it goes in so many different directions, and that's what's really cool about it. And there's a lot of personality. So
I love that. Moral of the story is we're here to learn.
Yeah, we're here to learn.
Learn, have fun while we're doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that is all the questions that we have, but we can just tell them where we can find the podcast, when we can expect new episodes to drop, release, all of that kind of stuff. And if you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll answer those too at some point. And just let them know what they can expect going forward for the season.
I think we're dropping the podcast episodes, I believe, once a week, but we may be doing more or we may be doing less. We're going to see how we space it out. But just keep looking, keep your radar on, press follow. It's on Spotify and Apple, and it's going to be a really cool season. I'm so excited.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
So excited to work with you guys. Thank you so much for the class and answering all of our questions, all of our followers' questions.
It's a pleasure.
And again, if you have any more questions, you can drop them and we'll let you know the answers.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye.